Good morning, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Morning Glory Sessions. Haven't been on for a few days. Had a touch of food poisoning and it wasn't enjoyable. It was pretty bad. So took a few days off and I'm now back to get ready. Like the old Get Club. Now ready to get back at it. So today I want to talk about personal battles. Okay, the reason why I want to talk about this is because in Primal, I see a lot of guys and a lot of girls in the gym who are going through their own personal battles. Like social media has laid a platform where praise and recognition is the norm. That's what we really a lot of people post their six pack photographs and their transformation photographs for. They want recognition and for their hard work. Now that's great. It's fantastic, but the reality is, for a lot of people out there, the position they're in today, they're not going to be in any sort of physique, shall we say, that's going to like warrant the respect and warrant the recognition that people with six packs would get. But that doesn't mean that their battle isn't as hard. In fact, it's probably harder. I have a lot of guys in my gym who are overweight, obese, and their journey for me is more inspiring and more impressive than the guy who gets six pack, simply because when you are sitting at 23, 24 stone and you know your life is not going the way that you want it to be, and you're looking at your body and you're unhappy with who you are, having the confidence, having the nerve to walk into the gym and admit your feelings and admit you need help is probably the biggest battle most people go through. And for me, that takes a lot of that takes a lot of courage, and it's something that should be recognized and something that should be admired from people. Because when you've went through your life identifying as this obese person, and a lot of guys I know, they tend to be the brunt of their own jokes, and you can see it's like they're doing it as a self-defense mechanism. And so when you're doing that because your self-confidence and your self-belief is so low, to step foot into that gym and to ask for help and to expose yourself to other people, because in their heads they like it's not going to be true, but in their heads the story they're probably telling themselves is like everyone else is going to be bigger than me, they're going to be stressed as in muscle, they're going to be stronger than me, they're going to be more mobile than me, they're going to be more capable than me. And that is that battle you have to go through in your own head to get into the gym in the first place. It's a huge fight, and when you just to actually achieve that is step one. And that is a battle that should be commended, because getting over that barrier is your first step towards changing yourself. And then once you morning quizzes go with, and then once you get to that point, once you get yourself into the gym, it's that then the hard work begins, because then you realize you've got the battle of getting out of bed every morning. You've got the battle of making sure that you don't eat the shitty food. You've got the battle of between sitting on your ass and doing what you know you should got to do. And the fighting against these habits, it's another personal battle that no one really sees, no one gets recognition for, and because you're not getting recognition for it, it tends to be an intrinsic reward. The only reward you're going to get from it is the feeling of yourself you get from yourself from actually achieving it, from actually getting yourself up and doing it. The only one who's going to praise you is probably you for doing that. So there's not much. The only reward you're going to get if you continue doing this is the body you want. But no one's going to really praise you for getting out of your seat, because everyone else says, "Well, I should." Natasha, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a long time, love. Because not many people are going to reward you or clap you or give you lots of likes because you got off your seat and went to the gym, because it's not a big deal. But for you personally, it was massive. And then the small goals, touching your toes, lifting the weight you didn't think you could lift, being able to hang off a bar for a minute, small, simple, everyday tasks that a lot of people can do, but for you in your current state, or the state you were in, wasn't a great deal. So these personal battles that people are going through, they're never recognized, and because they're never recognized, and then what we're seeing, what we're being fed every day on a daily basis through social media, is the reward for getting a six pack, the reward for achieving like this certain physical look. And I think it's the only reason it happens really is because sex sells. People find attractive bodies good. They like to look at them, and People like to see transformations of someone who was really fat to someone who's now really fit, because that gives them motivation. But what we don't document and what we don't really recognize on a daily basis is the struggle that these people had to go through. Now, I'm not putting down people who went from fat to fit. I think it's brilliant. I think it's, if you've achieved that, fair play to you, and you deserve the recognition, because it's a personal battle. But I think the focus on that being the reward is where people go wrong. We need to focus more on just recognizing people's everyday struggles, and recognizing the challenges that every one of us face. And if we were to do that, what we would see is we would see a lot of people with a lot more things in common, and we would start recognizing that what you think what you're suffering, what the thoughts you're having on a daily basis are just the same thoughts as every other person in your position. But because they're not like highlighted, because people don't really talk about them, because a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about them, no one really knows about them. People suffer these things in silence, and it's only when we achieve the six pack, it's only when we achieve the body that everyone thinks is socially acceptable, do we get the rewards. And that's a for me, that's not a great way to live life. That's not a great way for the fitness industry to be portraying itself. We should be recognizing everyone's rewards, everyone's achievements on an individual basis, and we should be maybe recognizing the fact that just because someone hasn't got a six pack, or just because somebody hasn't achieved what society deems as like really amazing, doesn't mean they haven't suffered, doesn't mean they haven't struggled, doesn't mean they haven't went through the journey and the process, and they're deserving of this recognition. So yeah, it's just with the members I've got, a lot of members I've got, they're a lot of weight to lose. They need to be able to find themselves. They need to be able to find a way to get through these hurdles. But social media is set up in a way that doesn't allow that. It's never going to really encourage people or give anyone that recognition. There's a guy I follow on Instagram who has lost over 10 stone, and I've followed his journey for about 2 years, and he's one of the most inspiring guys I've ever seen. And for the first couple of years I followed him, he never really changed, but his personal battle was he never failed to turn up the gym. He obviously his eating wasn't right, but he was always posting selfies himself, taking photographs himself every single day, photograph of that current shape. He never changed. And then he started doing something called, I think, 75 Day Hard or something. Dave was losing it, call it, by the way. Dave was losing it. And something clicked in his head. And for me, it's phenomenal, because I always commented on him. I always try to give him help. I don't know the guys from Scotland, I just know him through Instagram. But I found him very, very inspiring, because his personal battle was with his food, but he never, ever, ever gave up. And it was mind blowing, it was just like Groundhog for so long. It was Groundhog Day for him. He never lost weight. He just stayed there, but he stayed in the mix the whole time. And for me, that was his personal battle. His personal battle was never allowing himself to quit no matter what. And now, over the last year, the weight has just fallen off him, and he's a completely different guy. In fact, he put a picture of himself up, and I couldn't believe how big he was compared to his now. And he's fit, he's healthy looking, and it's inspiring. So to those guys who are struggling, those girls who are struggling out there, those guys and girls who look at Instagram and they feel dejected because the physiques they're seeing getting rewarded are so far removed from what they are now, and it's just not in their reality. Just stay the course. Hold on. You will get there. It takes time. Something will click within you if you continually push forward. It's like me and my gym. Like me and my gyms. I have had so many ups and downs in the fitness industry. It's ridiculous. But I've stayed the course, and I've never give up. I've never allowed myself to quit. I've had times where I've doubted myself. I've had times where I don't want to be here. I've had times where I want to quit. But something inside me has kept me going, and now I'm reaping those rewards. The gym I've got is fantastic. The membership I've got is fantastic. The community I've built is just the best I can ever have. I love my job, and it's because I have stayed the course, and I've learned from the mistakes. And you've got to realize that every time you fail, it's not a failure. It's just you're learning another way of not doing it. Like Thomas Edison, he done had 10,000 mistakes, and he said he didn't have 10,000 mistakes. He had 9,999 ways of not knowing how not to do something. And when you're losing weight and you're building yourself and you're trying to change yourself mentally and physically, it's the exact same process. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have those moments where you fail. You're going to have those knockbacks. But it's how you deal with those knockbacks and how you push forward and how you learn from them and take steps towards not doing it again and implement new strategies. That is going to be the crucial way for you to change yourself. So I will see you tomorrow, and have a good day, folks.